All right, so I just want to start this video off by saying I am by no means an expert in programming or an expert in Airtable necessarily, but what I am is an avid user of Airtable and of Notion and some other database tools like FileMaker, which are all pretty much the same thing. They just use the same tools in different ways. So essentially, I wanted to create this video, and I'm going to be creating more videos because I myself, when I run into certain things or I'm not sure about what to do with Airtable, or if I'm trying to solve a problem, or if I'm trying to figure out a formula, or how to do certain things with extensions or automations or things like that, I've come up to a wall where the content that I see is not really going as far as I wish it would. There's not a lot of information out there for how to solve specific kind of problems. And Airtable and Notion are both really amazing tools. And while they use the same like foundational tools in terms of relationships and database structures and things like that, the way that they work are pretty different. And I'll be going through, I'll do Airtable stuff, and then I'll do a different video on Notion stuff. And so you kind of have two different things. And once I have enough of that content made, then I can probably do a video where I compare Notion versus Airtable and kind of have them side by side. But I'm going to start with Airtable because that's kind of what I'm using the most right now. And I've built out a whole custom database using interfaces for the work that I do. And I work in entertainment as a production manager and also a production stage manager. And if you're not sure what that is, ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give you a pretty good definition of what that is and what they do and scopes and things like that. But I work in the entertainment industry, and yeah, I have to solve a lot of different problems. It's a lot of project management and relationships and leadership and stuff like that, which doesn't really have anything to do with, you know, with like Airtable necessarily, but I do use it to solve a lot of problems. So I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there covering this, but I figured I would start from the very beginning, and I would just cover things that, how to start an Airtable database. So I'm just basically going to go through a very basic, hold on, I need to turn this thing off really quick because this is, my notifications are blowing up right now. Do not disturb. Thank you. And so, yeah, basically, Airtable are a bunch of tables. You have tables that you can put data in, and then you can use that data to relate to other data. For example, let's say we want to call this data table customers, and then we want to add another data table, and we want to call this products. Okay, so let's say we have a customer name whose name is John Doe. Let's do Jane Doe, and let's do Bob Smart. All right, and then let's say we have products. Let's say we have, let's see, window washing is a service. Let's go with services. Power washing and car washing. Why not? Let's go with the washing thing. All right. So let's say that you want to connect these things together. So we'll have to add a linked record, and we're going to connect to services. And so we're going to allow multiple services. This allow linking to multiple records. We want to have that checked because someone may purchase more than one service. So we are going to keep that. This other stuff, wouldn't worry about it too much right now. It's not really it's not useful for this particular example, so we're going to do that. It's going to add it's going to ask you if you want lookup fields. I'm not really going to worry too much about this, but basically lookup fields are fields that are pulling data from this specific table. So for example, let's say we have prices in there and we wanted to pull the price along with the service name, then we would select prices and it would pull that data into this table. So we're going to skip that for now. So let's say John Doe, he purchases . he purchases power washing. So power washing is going to be here. And as you can see here, window washing is John Doe here. And let's say that this Jane Doe purchases power washing services and car washing services. And then what's going to happen is Jane Doe is going to be in both of those. And let's say later on, John adds power washing to that. And then you're going to see John and Jane under power washing. So this is a very simple example of the relationships of tables. And I just want to show you another way that you can use this. And a lot of people, I think when you're first introduced to Airtable, you think that, oh, this is just like another type of Excel, or it's another type of spreadsheet type thing. And I want to be clear that databases are totally different from Excel. You can use Excel like a database, but a database is not a spreadsheet. And I think that people often get confused on those two facts. And databases are really about relationships and how things are connected together. And this very purely simple example is showing you exactly that you're taking data and you're putting it into a different context, essentially. And it cuts down on the amount of typing new information or the same information in multiple times. So if you wanted to, you're selling the same service over and over and over to a bunch of different clients, you don't want to type in the same information, window washing for $100 at blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of things that are repetitive, and you don't want to have to retype that in. And you can accomplish that in Excel, but it doesn't do it the same way, and it's not as efficient. So that's essentially what the power is of databases. Along with that, you can also create different views. And this is really where I think the change is between Excel and a database. With Airtable and also Notion as well, you can do that. So you can also create a calendar, which I don't have an example to show you that, but it essentially connects to a date. So if you have like services and you're booking certain things, you can see what services are being booked at on certain dates and times and things like that. And then the Kanban is probably the next most useful, and it basically shows you in this kind of form. So let's say we had a status for let's say rename pending. See, serviced, done. Okay, so let's say whenever a customer inquires about a service and they say, hey, I want to book an appointment. Say you can just move this over, say John Doe, he has booked an appointment and now he's pending. And then once he has his service serviced, and once he's paid, he can be moved over to done. And you can name these whatever you want. This is just a very simple example of what you could use it for. And so you can view it like that. You can also view it in a gallery, which looks like this. And you can show specific fields and information that you want to put. This might be helpful for seeing what kind of services that people have booked. You can have notes, or you notate specific things about maybe they have a dog, or there's arrival things, or whatever. And this is a free account, so the options are limited in terms of what I can show you. But there are other views too, like timeline, which essentially shows. Let me see if it'll let me. I have a deep field, so let's just make one. Group by services. Let's do that. Done. Okay, so essentially you want to see like how things are being booked out. It would show you this left to right horizontal type thing. List is also really helpful, and it sort of cleans up your data to where it doesn't. It's kind of like a grid, but it's a little bit more interactive. And you can also show other fields in here. You can like customize, and you can show different things. So like, let's say put the status in here. So, and this directly correlates with this. So if we put these in different statuses here, you'll see that they all have a specific status. And then, so this is, the views. And then within that, you can also group data. So for example, say you want to group them by status. So you can group data by status. Obviously, if you had more customers, you would have different varying of levels of people in certain statuses. You can also sort them. So if you want to sort them by name, you can sort them from A to Z. You can sort them from Z to A. If you remove the status group, you'll see that more. So it'll essentially alphabetize them. You can sort them by multiple things. So you can sort them by name, then you can sort them by location. You could, if you had a location, if you had a business over specific cities or areas or states or countries, you could group them by country or by state or serviceable areas or anything like that. You can also filter data. So if you only wanted to show customers who were in a specific status, let's say if their status is not done, for example, then it's only going to show you the ones that are not done. That way you don't have to see every single thing that you have completed, every service you've completed, and you'll only see the ones that are active. If you only want to see ones that are done, then you will see that. And you can create different views for specific filtered views. So you can create a new view, and then you can just filter by that, and then you have a specific view that you can reference all the time. So if you want to see all of them, you would just have this turned off. But if you wanted to see, I only want to see the ones that are done, then you can create a view specifically to show only done. And then if you wanted to specifically create a view that is people that are not in the done status, then you can do that. So this is just a really simple overview. I hope this was helpful if you have been looking for Airtable content. And if you want to see something specific, please drop a comment, like and subscribe to this video. And I hope that is super useful. Again, I'm going to start posting these videos and get some really high quality Airtable content, a lot of content that I am always looking for and trying to find how to solve specific things, especially when I first started. I feel like there's just a lot of content that's not really out there that I think is useful and can help people solve specific problems. So anyways, until next time, thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time.